Welcome back to another episode of Coast Times. Today we're actually going to be doing things a little bit different. Instead of riding this week, we're actually going to be doing a quick bike check. Keen eye to you might have noticed that I actually had two bikes in the back of my truck on the way up here. Surprise, surprise. I actually recently ended up building a new bike. But first off, we're going to go over the bike that you would have seen on the channel for the last 8 or 9 months or so. It's the Specialized Status 160. Let's go over that quickly. Okay, this one should be a pretty easy bike check for the most part. The bike is a 2022 Specialized Status 160 in the S4 size. Yeah, basically I bought this bike earlier this year, end of February, I believe. My other bike was just getting a little bit old, a little bit tired, and Specialized to just put these things on an absolutely unreal deal. So, end up hopping down to Bellingham, picked up the bike in the States. Yeah, pretty much stock, honestly. The biggest things that I would have changed, just basically all the PNW Components touch points. So, loam grips, loam lever, the loam pedals, and then range bar and stem. All of it's kind of in a kind of funky safety orange. Really pops up against the greens in the forest, which is quite nice. Honestly, besides that, the only other things that I've really done, I'm running tubeless tire inserts by Rimpact, front and rear. I like to run really low tire pressures and 15, 16 psi kind of range there. So this just kind of gives me a little bit better rim protection, offers some peace of mind in the faster corners that I don't debead. Yep. Besides that, the only other things that you'll really notice, I'm running the 1-Up bash guide up front here, and the STFU chain suppressor kind of kit here. That's just kind of nice to have stuff. For the most part, the chain silencer, chain suppressor system there is just to try to mitigate damage to the chainstays. Oddly enough, I have been finding with this bike, there's a bunch of chain wrap at the front of the sprocket there. It's actually been chewing up the paint, so just put some Velcro padding there in the meantime. But yeah, bash guide definitely has come in handy. This bike is basically the epitome of low, long, and slack. So bash guide, especially in the shore, definitely hang up on a bunch of rocks, but that seems to take care of it. Besides that, I've basically just tossed on a couple other accessories. Got all my tools and some snacks, GoPro batteries and whatnot in my Dakine hot lapper bag. And I'm running a 1-Up EDC pump and the Fidlock water bottle. Before, when I was riding my old bike, I always had a backpack. So water and tools and everything on the bike were never really necessities of mine. When I ended up switching over to the Status, I learned how nice it was to ride without anything on your back. So now I get to house pretty much everything right on the bike, which is super sweet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As for my thoughts on the bike itself, this thing, absolutely unreal. Compared to my old bike, this surprisingly, honestly, climbs quite well. Weighs in right now at about 35-ish pounds. For the most part, I would say the geometry is not ideal for climbing. But with that being said, it's probably the best technical climber that I've ever ridden. If you're out of the saddle and don't mind putting in the effort, this thing has so much traction and so much stability. And it's nimble enough to get itself through some pretty tight switchbacks on the way up. And honestly, same idea on the way down. This is an actual, mullet of a bike. Not just wheel size. This thing is, low, long, slack, all through the front triangle. This thing is, DH bike up front, and then trail bike out back. It's kind of funky, honestly. It descends super well. Loves the tight and steep sections of the North Shore. Um, Something that I do find kind of funny, the chain stays all remain the same regardless of size. So every time you go up in size, all that's getting longer is your front triangle. Personally, I really like the S4. It gives a lot of like confidence in that size there, just having so much reach. I could see it being maybe a well balanced bike on the like S2 or S3. Um, yeah, I'm like honestly couldn't tell you anything that I really dislike about this bike, and for the price, it was spec'd super well in my opinion. Um, the only thing I could see improving upon is maybe wheel set in the future. They've been really good for me so far, but uh, a little bit lighter never really hurts either. Um, yeah, honestly, like I would recommend this bike to pretty much anyone looking to get into a full suspension. Uh, it's been great in the park so far. It's been great on our local trail days. Yeah, nothing but good things to say. I feel like it's personally progressed a lot of my skill set. Um, I used to really enjoy riding the old bike, but it was never quite playful enough to actually like ride the features that I wanted to. Um, the way this has been set up, it's been great. So yeah, definitely would recommend it. Okay, welcome to the new bike. This is a Nukeproof Scout 275 V3. Frame is a size large, a little bit shorter wheelbase than my Specialized Status, as well as a little bit shorter of a reach. All in all, this thing is basically built to be as downhill oriented of a hardtail as I could possibly consider. Uh, so yeah, as you can see, rocking a 160 mil travel Fox 36 factory, grip 2 damper, whole 9 yards on there. Managed to get this on Facebook Marketplace for such a deal that I thought that it was honestly a knockoff. I ended up checking with Fox and everything, and it is totally legit, but wild that some people will sell stuff for on Facebook Marketplace. From there, yeah, start I guess at the bottom and work our way up. So running some Hope Pro 5 hubs with some DT Swiss FR541 hoops around them. I'm then also running Vittoria airliners in this wheel set. Those are hand-me-downs, again, from my old Enduro there. And then I loved the Specialized Butcher Grid T9 so much on the Status that I actually decided to pick up a set for this bike as well. They've been so unreal. Grippy in all the rain and all the rock work at home, but fast rolling enough that they work great in the park. Yeah, drivetrain wise, decided that this bike didn't need to have that expensive of a drivetrain, so I ended up just going with the like base 12-speed Shimano Dior. And then the brakes are also just 4-piston Shimano Diors. Also came off my old Specialized Enduro. Pedals, we've got the Chromag Dagas. These things, I've ridden this bike one time, and I'm already terrified of these pedals. They're really great for keeping your feet on, but I imagine it's going to be a hospital trip the first time your feet come off, so keep that in mind. Touch points, again, yeah, I love the PNW Components parts so much on the Status that I decided to put them on here as well. So we've got PNW loam grips and the loam lever, as well as the loam dropper post, all with the peanut butter accenting. And then also end up stealing a couple parts from the Specialized Status. So the chain guide, bars, and stem were all the original take-me-offs on the Specialized Status there. Yeah, I mean, this thing was originally supposed to come from Nukeproof with a 140 mil shorter travel fork. Was originally supposed to be set up to be quite a trail bike. And I do like that, but I also really wanted this thing to be able to handle all the like black diamond trails at home. So yeah, I end up going with a longer travel fork. That also sets the bike up to be a little bit more slack, which is nice. Yeah. I mainly bought a hardtail because I want to be able to ride all throughout the winter and not have to worry about all the maintenance required on all the frame pivots of a full suspension bike. And I'm really hoping that this does the job. I've only ridden it once so far, and it was a really, really good, fun ride, but it was nothing overly technical or difficult, so I haven't really got to push it to its limits. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how this goes.